You better steal this idea before they take this video down, because I'm going to show you a handful of ways that I use tools like Phantom Buster to automate my social media outreach and generate leads for my business. Let's get started. If you don't know about it yet, let me introduce you to Phantom Buster. This is an app that I have been using for years. I've talked about it in the past, but this is the first time that I'm actually going to go through and walk through how I use it almost every day. You can use this across so many different platforms. I'm going to show you how we're generating leads on autopilot. One of the first automations I'm going to show you is super simple to set up, and it will save you so much time, and the ROI is almost immediate. This is outreach automation on LinkedIn. This can be done on any platform, but I'm going to show you specifically on LinkedIn. One of the things that I had to do was set up a lead gen flow or a funnel for my CEO, because he's constantly traveling around and meeting people, but he also doesn't get to connect with as many people as he wants on LinkedIn. So what Phantom Buster does really, really well is it connects to your LinkedIn profile and allows you to create searches and run connections. Or you can say, here's a CSV file or a Google Doc that has the connections in it, the profiles you want. All Phantom Buster needs is either the search parameters from LinkedIn or a list of LinkedIn URLs, and it will do the rest. What I mean by you'll be able to see the ROI, this is what I mean. You can immediately see that we've already saved 9 hours. I don't know how they come out with that estimation, but I actually think that it's somewhat accurate. We've reached out to 398 of 418 people that have fit within his ICP, and we've got a 13% acceptance rate. Now, this is great if all you're trying to do is gain new followers or get new connections. Like, there's a whole theory around that, but in a business context, there's nothing wrong with automating this, because I'll tell you what's happening is this is being automated while Ben's doing his thing. Every time he gets a connection added to his LinkedIn, he sees it, sends a message, which we also have automated, saying, hey, thanks for connecting, with some other messaging. When that goes out, Ben gets the message, and then he'll also reach out to that person through an email. We can then pull this list down and do a whole bunch of other stuff. But in essence, all this automation is doing is speeding up my personal ability to scale outreach. I can sit on LinkedIn for 4-5 hours a day, searching people up, trying to find who the right ones are, and sending connection request after connection request after connection request. But if I already know that I want to connect with all of these people because they're in my search parameters, why not just take that list, drop it into Phantom Buster, and let it do all the connections for you? What is even better is not everyone's going to connect with you, right? Some people are never on LinkedIn. Some people are going to see your profile and not want to connect with you. And some people, who knows? So there's also an automation that will withdraw those invitation connections. I don't know what the limit is on LinkedIn. I want to say it's around 500, 800. It's actually a large number, so it's kind of irrelevant. But you can only send out so many connection requests. And you can only send out so many connection requests and then have them kicked out because somebody says, I don't know you, which is what typically happens either immediately when somebody sees your connection coming in, or if they're rarely on LinkedIn, they're going through all of their connections, they're trying to bulk add people, because that's what people do when they're on LinkedIn. They're like, I've got 20 things to accept. Here are the 5 I want, and they kick everybody else out. They can decline it, or they can say, I don't know you, which then is a flag against you. What this automation does is it bypasses and alleviates or mitigates that entire problem. We send out a connection request, or Ben does. Hey, CMO, I really like what you're doing. Came across your LinkedIn profile, and I wanted to get connected, because that's how he's finding this list. If they accept, there's a follow-up message. Do you want to talk? Whatever it may be, that goes out. If they don't connect after a week, 2 weeks, whoever knows how long it's going to be before they're actually on LinkedIn, I usually leave this about 2 weeks, it withdraws that invitation. That way it's not just sitting in his bucket, and he can continue to send out more and actually connect with engaged and active people on the platform. That's the key. Using the automation, not just to grow your list, but to actually find engaged and active people on LinkedIn, regardless if they're buyers or not. We have no idea when we do these campaigns if they're actually in a buying cycle. The whole goal of this for Ben specifically is to grow his network. And so what we're doing is we've built a system that basically finds the ICP and the people that he wants to be connected with on LinkedIn, and built the platform in a way that does the connection request, has a communication with them, and if they don't want to communicate, removes them from the list, and then continues down the list. And what you'll see is that you're going to grow your followers. Another way that we use Phantom Buster that saves us hours, I don't even know how to calculate the time, hours every single week, is going through and generating leads from the followers we have on LinkedIn. Think of your company page. Most companies have followers of thousands, tens of thousands. There's some company pages out there that have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers. But for your company, if you're on Sales Navigator, or if you're an admin of the company page, you can actually see all of the followers on that page. The people who are following your company page, if they're not employees, they are either your customers, potential customers, or just people who are interested in your industry. All of those are people that you should be communicating with. So what this Phantom Buster does is it saves you all the time having to copy and paste and extract all these leads by doing it automatically. So what this will have is a link to your company page. You're an admin, it connects to it, and it will basically go through and pull out all of the followers that you have on LinkedIn. And you'll see we've got profile URLs, full name, first name, last name, headline, and an image. That's it. Not a lot of POI or personal identifiable information, but what it will have is enough that you can then pull into your system to do other things with. If you're not grabbing the followers of your company and turning that into leads for your business, you are sleeping on a gold mine. This is one automation, again, saves me hours and has a really good ROI. LinkedIn company follower collectors. What comes after that is I collected all of these names, and again, all I have is a profile URL, a name, their headline, looks like their image, when they followed the page, which is also really interesting to keep, and what their connection degree is to me or whoever it is that set up this profile, because it's actually clicking through your personal profile, and their source ID. So from this information, again, I don't have a lot. I don't know how to email this person. I don't know how to reach out to them. I have their name and I have their LinkedIn profile. What this next automation does is it piggybacks off of the followers and it says enrich all of those followers. So now it's going to go to that list that got created and it's going to go look at LinkedIn. It's going to get some profile information from that person so I know more about them, like what company they work at and things along those lines. It's going to use an email discovery tool. This is using Phantom Buster, Hunter.io. You can set it up any way you want in here. And then it's going to go off and it's going to find all the profiles and it's going to go and it's going to look at 20 of them a day or every time it launches. Again, if you're not looking at your company followers as a potential lead gen opportunity, you're sleeping at the wheel. Another automation that I think is useful, and again, the haters, they actually dislike this one the most. They hate them all, but this one for some reason really gets them fired up, is auto liking. There are lots of debates around this, and I can have them, but let me explain something to you. I don't see anything wrong whatsoever for building automations for activities that I would have done naturally. It's the whole point AI and agents are so popular is because they can do things while I'm sleeping. If you're going to abuse this, there's going to be repercussions. I can't help you. But what I'm going to explain to you is how I use this. I use an auto liker. What I use it for is every time that I get a new connection on LinkedIn, this thing tracks it. And when I add that new connection, it goes into a spreadsheet. And then the auto liker looks at that spreadsheet. Every time it sees a new name, it likes one of their posts. And then I get a new name and it likes one of their posts. And then it's set up so that it's going to like, I think, 4 or 5 posts a day. So what ends up happening is I get 2 new connections. It likes those 2, and then it goes to the 2 above that and likes those 2. And then I add 1 more, and it just kind of rotates through and likes posts. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm not going off and liking random comments and all this other stuff. I think this is the right way to go about it. You can abuse it. There's probably other ways that I haven't thought of that are fine to use this. Use auto liker. The benefit is going to give you outweighs whatever the risk is if you use it correctly. Let me explain. I'm on LinkedIn a lot and I post a lot and I like a lot of things and I share a lot of things and I'll leave a lot of comments. That being said, I don't get to touch the profiles and all of the other content from everyone that I'm following. It's just not possible. The feed isn't set up that way. I literally have to have bookmarks set up to find individuals. That's another quick tip that I'm going to drop right here. If you don't have it already, you should have a bookmark on your computer that is specific to just influencers in your space. So all this is a search on LinkedIn, and then I add individual names. And when I add it all up, what I will end up doing is then I just bookmark this, and then I can go back into the thing whenever I want. And I have different bookmarks for different sets of influencers. Pro tip right there. All right, going back to this. I'm not using auto like on all of the things that you just saw. I'm just setting up lists of influencers. What I want to explain to you is you could set up a like platform that will go through and like all of those posts from all of those people. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. They're influencers that I want to follow. Without going into that debate again, I get fired up because I know that it's contentious. All right, so As you can tell, I get fired up about this stuff, but here are the things that you can do with Phantom Buster among the hundreds that are going to have a meaningful impact on whatever it is you do for work. 1. Auto connections. Build your ICP list, send the connection requests out automatically. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing it on your own, but have the automation happening so it's happening when you're busy doing other things and you're not going to miss a day. Withdraw the invitation connects. Have it set up so that as you're sending out connection requests, if somebody doesn't connect with you after a few weeks, pull it down. That way you can use those credits for other things. 3. You should set up some type of automation if you have an admin license or you have access to the admin page of your company page on LinkedIn. What you really should be doing is paying attention to the gold mine on LinkedIn, which is your company page. So set up an automation that's going to extract all of the followers of your company page. And then what 4 would be is to enrich that list. You're going to find people that are following your company page that are not in your CRM. It's just going to happen. 5, auto liking. So when you're auto liking something, make sure that it's somebody that you would have normally liked. You don't want to set this up to be wild and just liking crazy stuff because people are going to see that and be like, well, why did Coco like that thing? Well, if you're very specific on the people that you want to engage with, it's never going to look awkward. Connection requests, withdrawals, your company page, followers, and enrichments, and then finding a way to engage with more people. Those things alone are going to save you hours and hours and hours every single week. All right, let me know in the comments if you got anything else, and I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon.